Hi, everybody. We often confirm that this is all just life happening, with no separate entities pursuing anything. So the question arises, what exactly is life doing, expressing, and why? Let's look at that. There is only life. There are no actual separate selves and never have been. The appearance of a separate self owning and running its own personal life is an illusion, projected and sustained through the recurring I thought that appears continuous and thus creates the uniquely human sense of self-awareness. Meantime, life flows onward with no sense of individual needs or desires, like a river flowing onward for no reason and with no awareness of separate drops. Drops don't own the river, life's river owns the drops, especially since separate drops is just a concept. Or, more accurately, life just happens, and there is no ownership anywhere. Yet, ironically, every human acts like an owner, trying to bend life to their illusory will. Looking unflinchingly at what life appears to be expressing on both the macro cosmic level and the micro level of apparent separate beings, what we see is this. On the macro level, life appears to be creating a vast, impenetrably mysterious universe with stars, planets, and heavenly bodies that may or may not contain individual beings, and with no particular purpose other than to be. On the micro, individual being level, human beings appear to be the only species containing this level of consciousness and self-awareness, and therefore containing the illusion of a separate self that somehow can own, run, control, and liberate life, as if life needs liberating. There is no self that controls anything, yet even within that false self's illusion of control, it's clear that life seems to allow very limited and often unsatisfying manipulation of individual life. Many wealthy people are yet unfulfilled or depressed. Yogis and health enthusiasts still get sick perennially or perish from disease, etc., sometimes even before they're 40 or 50. Relational conflict between individuals and nations still abound, in spite of all of our diplomatic and therapeutic attempts to fix these. And as the poet Milton confirmed, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. So on the micro level, life appears as the illusion of separate beings whose separate lives last between one day and maybe 100 years, have an intense mix of happy times and troubled times, and with the all too infrequent good, truly satisfying times merely sprinkled through all the times of hard work, difficulties, and suffering. And this illusory separate self has virtually no control over how any of it turns out. Now, the illusion of a separate self can be seen through, even totally collapse. In those seemingly few and far between instances where life appears as one of those rare individuals in whom the illusion of self has fully dissolved, in which they seem to have passed through a gateless gate, life still looks exactly like life. The only difference now is it's just life flowing, life doing life, instead of an illusory self attempting to manipulate life. All that remains is only life. The pressure is lifted, and freedom abounds. And indeed, since there is only life, nothing but perfection and boundless freedom of what is possible. Whether or not that collapse of self appears to happen, life on both macro and micro level is what's doing this, not the illusory individual. Life just flows onward and doesn't care or even notice when or where that shift in perspective of the illusory individual appears to happen. It alters nothing. Life is always just life, already whole, complete, and in no need of individual or all of humanity shifts. Any apparent human who has not crossed through the gate or released the false self will appear to live out its allotted time and die, all the while thinking, I am running this, controlling this. I must make this life work. An apparent human who has seemingly crossed that illusory line, which once again is merely a shift in perspective, will also appear to live and die, simply without the yoke of selfness, and with the realization it's just life doing life. Life doesn't care, doesn't even distinguish between which of those illusory outcomes is occurring within its all of life oneness. Which means it really doesn't matter whether you cross the gateless gate, see through the illusion of the self, dissolve the self, or attain liberation or not. Indeed, the only thing it could matter to is the illusory self, never to life, which makes all this yearning and fretting and inquiring and striving to lose the self rather quaint and wholly insignificant. An illusory and irrelevant exercise, leading to a total non-event. Our friend Ram Dass once clarified, all spiritual practices are illusions created by illusionists to escape illusion. Or as another beloved sage put it, if you decide to preserve the onion in its original state, your mind-layered illusion of self, there's nothing wrong with it. Life will have its way with you, its expression through you. And eventually, the onion will decompose in exquisite ignorance after having had its own illusory, happy, sad life. If life decides to peel the onion through you, appears to decide that, and things appear to happen like rigorous meditation, scripture study, purification, and inquiry. All of those things which the illusory self likes to call spirituality or being on the path to awakening and enlightenment and consider so noble. All of that will just be life, lifing, not you. And all that may gradually fade away, replaced by more and more just reality, just what is. So you can relax. Chasing the disillusion of self is just one more thing life appears to like to do within its own macro and micro interests through a very small, sensitive niche of illusory, separate selves that like to call themselves seekers. No different than life planeting, life black holing, life virtuoso musicianing, life medical doctoring, life abundancing or povertying, life victim or victimizing. As my friend Adya likes to say, enjoy yourself. Or more accurately, it's all perfect and it's all just what is. Relax and let life enjoy itself. I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.